Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you lost, even after saying everything you needed to? Perhaps you've experienced that knot in your throat, feeling your strength drain with every word. It's easy to believe that staying silent is weakness, or that not reacting is surrendering. But what if I told you that all of this is an illusion? Nietzsche, a thinker often misunderstood, saw something few dare to admit. True power has never been in words, but in their absence. Those who talk too much reveal too much. Those who need to convince are already at a disadvantage. The world teaches us to fight, explain, and defend our ideas as if every discussion were a battle. But Nietzsche proposed a different, more subtle, and infinitely more intelligent path. He believed silence isn't just an absence of noise, it's an overwhelming presence. Silence disconcerts, destabilizes. It forces others to confront themselves. Why do we feel this desperate need to respond, to correct, to prove we are right? Because deep down, we're conditioned to believe silence means losing. Nietzsche saw this as a symptom of our deepest weakness, the fear of appearing weak, driven by a fragile ego. This fragile ego confuses disagreement with attack, turning every conversation into a battlefield where we seek power, not truth. Nietzsche called this herd morality, living under the expectations of others, seeking approval. But this quest for validation keeps you weak. True strength lies not in convincing, but in not needing to. It's about holding your vision unshaken, even when misunderstood. Your first practical step? Stop reacting. The game of discussion is a theater, and the first to stand up and act has already lost. The reactive mind is subjugated. The observing mind is dangerous because it's above the need to prove anything. This is the path to internal mastery. In our next chapter, we'll explore Nietzsche's revolutionary concept of the Übermensch, a being who transcends common morality and wields absolute self-control. Discover how this figure embodies silence as a weapon of dominance. If this new perspective is making sense to you, click the subscribe button and join our journey. Don't miss the rest of this series. The ideal of the Übermensch, often misunderstood, holds a shocking truth. Nietzsche taught that true power isn't found in loud arguments or needing to prove yourself. Instead, the Overman, or Übermensch, transcends common limits by mastering absolute self-control. This is the being who shapes the world not by reacting to it, but by a deliberate, profound absence of unnecessary words. An Übermensch doesn't engage in cheap emotional games. They don't waste energy trying to win every debate. What they do is observe, understand, and carefully choose when to speak, and, even more importantly, when to remain silent. This silence isn't empty, it's a loaded statement of presence and authority. It's the sound of self-mastery. Here's how you start to embody this. Practice intentional silence. When confronted, resist the urge to react immediately. Let a deliberate pause hang in the air. This forces others to sit with their own words, their own noise. Master your gaze. Instead of explaining, use calm, unwavering eye contact. Your silent presence, combined with a steady look, speaks volumes, commanding respect without a single phrase. Observe like a hunter. While others fill the void with chatter, you listen deeply. Identify their fears, contradictions, and insecurities hidden between the lines. This strategic observation gives you true power. This isn't passivity, it's active, intentional control. But why does this controlled silence destabilize others so profoundly? In the next chapter, we'll uncover the deep psychological reasons behind why your silence can become theirs most unsettling mirror. Did you know silence can literally trigger a fight or flight response in others? It's a shocking truth. When you choose not to react, you're not just holding your tongue. You are forcing the other person to confront their own words, to face their arguments without the comfort of your external resistance. This is profoundly destabilizing. Most people speak to protect themselves. They want to convince, to hide the emptiness between what they say and who they truly are. When you remain silent, their disguise often falls away. This isn't just a theory. Social psychology confirms that in confrontational situations, silence is perceived as judgment. The speaker feels exposed, insecure. Why? Because without your response, without your reaction, they lose control. The human brain goes into high alert. The amygdala, our fear and anxiety center, activates. They project their own fears onto you. Is he judging me? Does he see my insecurity? Your calm silence becomes an invisible blade. It cuts where no one sees, but everyone deeply feels. Enze sensed this dynamic long before modern science. For him, the average person is enslaved by their reactions. They act on impulse, speak out of vanity, fear being forgotten. The truly powerful, the self-mastered individual, remains silent. They know every word given is a piece handed to the enemy. To apply this, start by embracing uncomfortable non-reaction. The next time you feel compelled to justify or defend, choose stillness. Observe the growing discomfort in others. Watch their masks begin to slip. This isn't passive. It's a potent, active assertion of control. Now that you understand the intense psychological chaos silence unleashes, it's time to weaponize it. In our next chapter, you will discover exactly how to transform this understanding into a conscious, strategic force, how to win any interaction without uttering a single word. From now on, you will learn to transform your silence into a precision weapon. Not a defensive shield, but a sharp blade. It cuts through others' masks at the exact moment they least expect it. Here's a powerful truth. True silence isn't just withholding words. It's born when you kill the desperate need to react, to justify, to prove yourself. That desire is poison. Every time you give in, you reveal you're still playing their game, still controlled by their opinions. Break free. How do you deploy this power? Here are 4 weapons of conscious silence. Weapon 1. Master the impulse. Be silent when every fiber screams for a response. This builds internal strength, showing you owe nothing to anyone. Weapon 2. Observe like a hunter. While others talk, don't just wait for your turn. Listen for fears, contradictions, and insecurities hidden in their words. Store this knowledge. Weapon 3. Leverage time. Let silence linger. The pause creates tension, and tension is power. A calm, silent gaze can be more impactful than a dozen sentences. Weapon 4. Be unpredictable. When you master silence, you become an enigma. People fear what they can't predict. They become cautious, measuring their words, losing their advantage. This isn't passive, it's active dominance, charged with intention. You are preparing, choosing your position. When the moment is right, a single, precise word can end the discussion. Not because it's louder, but because it's undeniable. But what happens when silence isn't a weapon, but a cage? In the next chapter, we'll expose a darker truth, how your very silence might be used against you, allowing others to build their empire on your quiet submission. Is there anything more perverse than being conditioned to think silence is your only option? That your peace or conflict avoidance is always maturity? What if this isn't wisdom, but an insidious trap? Nietzsche saw this brutal truth. Your peace is often domesticated surrender. They exploit your calm, your willingness to overlook. They impose their will, occupying your space, and you allow it. The shocking reality, you are being used by those who know you won't react. This is Nietzsche's herd morality, a system for the weak, teaching self-nullification and conformity. You diminish yourself for external approval, feeling virtuous. But this quest for acceptance disempowers you. Ask yourself, is your silence a conscious choice or a hidden scream of submission? To break free, this submissive silence must die. Replace it with a silence of pure presence, a silence that doesn't bend, doesn't apologize, stands unyielding. This is the silence Nietzsche respected, the master of oneself. How do you move from being manipulated to mastering your presence? In the final chapter, we explore embodying the Übermensch. Discover what it truly takes to command authority without a single word. The world needs masters of silence. Is your silence truly a sign of wisdom or a subtle trap of submission? Many believe avoiding conflict is mature, but what if this peace is just a high price you pay for being used? This is the dark side of silence. You might be unconsciously giving away your power every day. Think about it. Do others consistently push their ideas, impose their will, or occupy spaces meant for you? Do you convince yourself it's not a big deal just to maintain harmony? This isn't calm, it's a quiet surrender. People take advantage because they learn you won't react. Nietzsche called this the morality of slaves. It's a hidden code of resignation, guilt, and being nice that teaches you to diminish yourself. This isn't strength. It's allowing yourself to be shaped by others' expectations, losing your true self in the process. Stop accepting this passive silence. It's time to kill the need to be good at your own expense. Your true power isn't about shouting, it's about dominating yourself. It's about regaining control of your own story. This requires being silent not from fear, but from a place of unshakable presence. How do you cultivate this potent, unyielding silence? How do you move from being manipulated to becoming the master of your presence? The answer, as Nietzsche revealed, lies in embodying the Übermensch. In our final chapter, we'll uncover precisely what it takes to become this new kind of human, one who reigns through mastery, not words. We have reached the final point of our journey, and now I need you to grasp one profound truth with absolute clarity. True silence is not absence. It is not emptiness. It is pure, undeniable presence. This is the ultimate mastery. It signifies you are no longer merely reacting to the world, but actively shaping it through your sheer existence. Nietzsche, a thinker often misunderstood, didn't write for those content to merely survive. He wrote for those yearning to transcend, for those courageous enough to shed the societal masks, even when it's painful. The silence of the Übermensch, the master of self, is never the silence of the oppressed or the coward. It is the profound stillness of the warrior who has already triumphed before the battle even begins. It's the unshakable calm of someone who has no need to prove anything to anyone. They know precisely who they are, and more importantly, what they inherently deserve. Now, pause and truly look at your own life. How many times have you remained silent out of fear, out of guilt, or simply to avoid disturbing the peace? How often have you allowed others to decide for you, speak for you, or trample over your deepest truths? Enough. Nietzsche would declare this way of living an offense to existence itself. To accept this type of submissive silence is to betray yourself. From this moment on, your silence must shift its very tone. It needs to transform from a retreat into an invisible roar of authority, a clear boundary, an unwavering affirmation of who you are, even if no one else truly comprehends it. Because who you are doesn't need to be understood. It needs to be lived, and that demands immense courage. Do you possess that courage? Then make a public declaration. Comment below, "I choose the silence that commands respect." Do this not just so I know you reached the end, but to affirm this powerful choice to yourself. Words carry immense power, even when they speak about the absence of words. Don't stop here. Our next video expands on these insights, taking your mind even further. Watch it, not for me, but because you are ready to transcend. Remember this: the weak shout, the strong remain silent, the wise choose when.